Welcome back everybody, and today we got something amazing. So if you haven't seen it, I was running a poll over on my community tab about if I should add a nice little mod pack to or not a mod pack, just a mod to the mod pack. And with just about 75% of you, yes, I added it in. And we have now Immersive Engineering. Don't worry if you're here for the create stuff, this is still mainly create. But with immersive engineering, you have a bunch more machinery than we can actually automate and make a lot of cool things with create. Plus, we can power everything with create boilers with some pretty cool machines from create stuff and additions. So I want to start this off right. And the first thing you really need to do, and kind of takes a little bit of time to set up, is actually a coke oven. And I got a lot of resources to make a lot of them. So we can make around 3 stacks of coke ovens. This is equivalent to 6 coke ovens, coke bricks, sorry, I said coke bricks, and this makes 3 coke ovens, because each one takes 27 if I remember correctly. But of course, then comes into the first problem, is that the coke oven needs coal. Now, we don't have a supply of coal, you know, that's the thing about this pack, is that it doesn't generate coal, well, unless we do have a skeleton farm that may be coming later. But yeah, as you can see, without actually having coal, or we really don't have any way to, well, to get these coke ovens like automated. And of course, with immersive engineering, you need hemp as well. So I went ahead and replaced a few wheat lines over here with some industrial hemp, as you can see. Now, they did change something about this, and that's, yeah, as you just saw, it only picks up the upper part of the plant, right? And while doing that, it doesn't actually generate seeds for some reason, which is not ideal, because these seeds can still be useful to us. But yeah, as you can see, I have an empty space here for seeds, and I'm only getting normal like hemp fibers. I'm not getting seeds from that. I do know that I can get seeds if I harvest the bottom of the plant, but for some reason, if I harvest the bottom of the plant, it doesn't get picked up by the thing itself. Like, I don't know what happened there. I guess I can try it here real quickly to see if it's still happening, or maybe it was just a little bit of a bug. But for some reason, and I don't have bone meal with me, for some reason it wasn't actually picking up the items that it was dropping, because they were not dropping from the bottom plant, they were dropping from the top plant. So the items just land flat on the floor. So let's see how this boy now handles this. And yep, as you just see, it does its thing, but it doesn't pick it up. I don't know why that happens. I would love to know why. If you guys know why, please let me know. If there's a fix, I don't think there will be though. I think this is just how these two mods are gonna work together for some reason. They didn't work like this before. I don't know why it's happening now. And so to get our things working now, our coke ovens, I need coal. How am I gonna get coal? Well, there's 2 ways I can get coal, and there's 2 ways that I will be getting coal. Because one of the ways I do believe is that we can use the, I think it's the extractor? Sorry, the excavator to dig up for minerals. Now, there is the survey tool, and I kind of need to know what ores we can get. So first of all, we can get some things if we go to the nether as well, which means we can automate a lot of things with this. We can automate deep slate, which is amazing. Copper and gold. We can automate prismarine emerald. We can automate coal and sulfur for some reason. And here we get some more iron and copper. Here we can get redstone. Here we can get magma blocks and obsidian. And this one we have galena, which is lead basically. And then we have just for regular rocks, like for example granite, diorite, and andesite, and obsidian, like 10% chance of obsidian. That's actually quite nice. Here we have bauxite ore. Here we have quartz and nether gold, which is basically just regular gold. Here we have nickel and iron. Here we have sand and clay, sand and soul soil, and zinc. And I don't think there's any more. Oh, of course, uranium as well. And this is the last one. Now, to get these guys, we need the excavator itself, which is quite an expensive block. Or machine, I should say, because it takes a lot of things, you know. Let's just pause this and then do this, and this, and you can take a look. Yeah, it requires a bunch of steel and radiators and all those things. We could build this right away, I think, but we don't have steel. And to get steel, we need the coke oven working so we can make the blast bricks, because we need coke. So you can see how this is going. We can't do this machine if we don't actually have the machine, sort of. So of course, as always, and while it's kind of the name of the pack, the solution to this is create. So I gathered a little bit of resources, and now we can go make a very, very handy drill. So if you remember this area down here that we had, you know that I had a drill that, well, went around and dig this area for us, and then we could just go to the walls and dig up the ores, and of course it itself, the drill, would also get a bunch of resources for us. And one thing I said is that I kind of want to connect my areas with an underground subway system, and that's what I intend to do. But in order to do that, we need to make those tunnels. And initially, the first station would be here. And I'll just remove this castle and build it, well, here. But there's a couple of villagers that kind of want to save, possibly. Plus, this is very much flooded on this side. And I do not have any, like, sponges and stuff like that yet. So I guess I'm gonna hold off on making this station over here, and we're gonna do the first station somewhere else, like for example here. And I even start like laying out, so I want to have this lined up with this side over here. And of course, if we want, we do have a train line going here, so if you want to pump up any items into the train, we can. So this will be one of the train stations that we will have. This will not be like the main train station. This will be basically an outlet just for me to get out from my public transport, because the main one I want to do will be connected to another industrial district. But since we can't get rid of that water, we're just going to start doing it over here. We're going to have the line start from here, and then we can then make a turn and something like that into the station whenever we can take this thing down. And having in mind that the world actually starts the water, I should say, starts on Y level 62, we are gonna be making this a few blocks under that level. So we are gonna go through water. You can see through the map, yep, there is water right here. But we're gonna make something that can handle this. So I made this monstrosity right here, and yep, it has a lot of deployers. Oh, and of course, don't forget you put the filters on, like I just did, and you have to break these all and then put the filters on again. Because you got to right click on the side and you can't put it from the front. It's please don't do the same mistake as I did. Oh, and if you can't tell, there's drills. Behind these deployers, there's an entire line of drills. Now, basically how this works is that we have this bad boy, which is a minecart furnace, which is powering this entire system. And then we have a deployer here to put rails, and we have a deployer here to make sure that there's always a cobblestone here, so that the rail can be placed, so that the minecart can go along. And then we have a mechanical plow, which picks up the rails, puts them back into the system, and they can be recycled. Then we have a line of drills that's going to drill anything that's in front of it. And we have a line of deployers which is basically gonna make sure that no fluid gets in the way of this. Now, I did have to stick a lot of things. I didn't need to stick all of this together. I kind of derped a little bit. I know I did. You can see that all of this is one machine and all of this is another one. But they're connected because I made sure that this middle one, the chassis, is actually a sticky chassis with a 2 range, which means it's picking up a drill and one of these front deployers. So hopefully, as soon as I put this piece of coal, this entire thing will move as one. And of course, I do need to actually pick that bad boy up. Oh, as you just saw, it derped. It didn't actually pick it up. And it broke the deployers. Whoops. Well, I decided to add in this mechanical drill, which is not really going to be anything too serious because though that block will be placed again here, so the system will just continue moving forward. And now if I pick up the clue, you can see that this should be all, or will be all, an entire system. When I put this here, and I can do this already. I can just right click. Probably here, I guess. And do this. Hopefully now means, yeah, all of this is in the same system. This guy is still technically on its own because it's not connected to that one. And as you can see, this is now fixed. So hopefully after this single piece of coal gets there we go. We have an infinite mining drill, as long as it gets coal, you know. 'Cause if it doesn't get coal, it's not gonna do anything. Kinda need to pay attention to that, and we don't need this here anymore. Just need to give this guy probably a little bit more coal. This doesn't have a lot, and if it doesn't find a vein soon, that's really just gonna stop. And you can see it just did this entire area with cobblestone, which means it just clogged up this area, and probably the fact that it has magma blocks here tells me that yes, there is water here. Yeah, it is dripping down water, so it did what it had to do. It's perfectly safe. It's not gonna put into the bottom ones, but the bottom one ain't gonna stop it from going forward. And I made this thing wide enough so I can then furnish out the walls with stuff. So I guess I'll just let it roam for a while, because I need resources. I need a lot of resources like coal, copper, zinc, and it kind of missed the block here for some reason. Well, I don't know why it missed that block. Whoops. And so after a successful run, I did pick this bad boy up, and now I'm gonna be using this area here to unload the items, which will make use of this area a little bit more because we haven't been using this corner. Kind of want to use it because it has a really cool view of the train station. So now we actually have a use for this area. So I just basically pick it up with the wrench, and then I just place it on down. I did realize that it doesn't look super symmetrical. No, it does. For some reason I thought it wasn't super symmetrical. But yeah, just place it down. I have a portable storage interface, which is then taking all the items out through this belt. And of course, if it has dirt, it goes into here. If it has cobblestone, it goes here. If it has gravel, it goes there. And all the other resources will go into these drawers, which will mean we will get some raw copper, zinc, iron, like lapis, and basically ores. And these ores I will eventually want to take back into that building over there and cook them, because we can't cook these ones. But later down the line with the big excavator, I think we get the ore blocks themselves. So those can actually go to a crushing wheel to give us more, and they can be washed to give us even more. So we're probably going to be doing that process when we get the excavator. But right now, we're going to be using this, and of course using all this coal to put into our coke ovens, which I do need to still place probably temporarily in that building over there. And yes, we did run into some issues here. I don't know exactly what caused this to happen. I believe it was the sand. That the sand falling may have caused this to not function like how it should have been. Probably like the sand got in the way of the process of the placing of the cobble. It's weird how this happened. I'm not so sure. It hasn't happened again, but I don't think we have entered any other water columns just yet. It did the one back there all right, but this one, yeah, it kind of derped off a little bit. So, got my hands on our first steel ingots, but something is happening right now. Well, basically, we need creosote oil, right? We're gonna need it. But at the moment, it's stopping this furnace from, or the coke oven from working. So we need to somehow pump it out. We can use the create pump, or we can use even the fluid pump. Just with these like pipes, they're pretty easy to do. But we can use these to extract it and maybe put it in a tank. The other alternative is just bucket it out. Like so, we even get the achievements for don't drink this, don't drink this, and then we can just turn this into creosote wood. So it's a very slow process, as you can see. There's better ways of doing this. We can use either a spout to just immediately toss it into, or to immediately turn a wood into treated wood planks, which is probably what we're gonna be doing. This is another recipe. We don't care about this recipe. And we can even use creosote oil for blaze powering onto, which is a really cool thing, which means we can technically power some machines with this system. And then we could even do it on a refinery to turn into phenolic resin, which then can be used into making either like empty shells, if I want to use guns and stuff, or duroplast sheets to make the revolvers parts. There's guns, like immersive engineering has guns. But I don't want to delve a lot into those guns because we're not really like fighting mobs and stuff like that, even though there's actually some new mobs from what I've seen. I believe if I check for revolver parts, yeah, there's like some new mob variants from immersive engineering, which look kind of cool, but I don't need to farm revolver parts, you know. The emeralds, I'll take the emeralds, but yeah, and there's like this boss, I guess this must be a boss, I don't know. But most important of all, what are we going to do with our first steel ingots? Well, I do believe that the best option for us right now is to do the excavator, which means if we go over here and grab onto the manual, we just gotta do this recipe right here. It's gonna take a while, probably still need a lot more steel, not gonna lie. But we should be able to get this quite easily. And I just realized something, is that for this recipe right here, for the heavy engineering block, we need electrum. You can even use electrum from immersive engineering or electrum from create crafts and additions. Now, the problem with this recipe of electrum is that it requires silver ingot. Silver ingots are mined somewhere in the overworld. Ooh. Yeah, I know, right? Crazy thing. Because I don't see any other way of getting electrum. Oh, never mind. There's actually a chance to get electrum from orchrum, which is kind of nice. Or from tough. But tough can give you anything. I would love to have an infinite amount of tough, but that's not a real thing. So what I did is I'm basically sending that guy over there through the water all the way into unloaded chunks. Like that's the closest I have to unloaded chunks, so I'm sending it this way into the water, which is probably a bad idea, as you guys can see, but I guess I can just go around with some stone and cover up the floor, or the roof, I should say, and maybe that will fix it. Because I believe this only happens with sand. Like, sand falls and gets destroyed by the machine itself, but the only issue is that it doesn't really handle things very well, because it doesn't place the blocks again when they fall. But this should be safe if you just close this off. Like, no water should get in if you close this area right here. So in case you're doing the same machine as I am, just be mindful when going through like entire areas filled with water. But as you can see, it will probably bug out here again with the sand. But it's, yeah, as you just thought, it's just bugged out there. You just go behind it and try and fix the holes wherever they appear. So, after quite a while of just gathering a bunch of stuff, I have the resources necessary to build the excavator, and most importantly, to actually power it. You see, I can't literally power it with, well, create stuff like directly, right? Because it doesn't use the same mechanics, but I can use this guy right here, an alternator. And you can even check this recipe right here is this little cute thing. And the alternator takes in create power and turns it into, well, let's call it electricity, you know, or FE. And as you can see, it's producing 360 FE per tick. And it's using 16,000 whatever SU per something. And now we can actually take this and use these connectors. I made these large connectors because they allow us for 6 other connections, and they also allows us to use gold spools, and we do have a lot of gold that we're not using, so we could just put this bad boy here, and it's now on pull, so it's pulling in the power from the alternator. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this guy here, and then we'll link these two together. And now, see, this guy is on the network and it's using 360 FE per tick. Pretty cool, you know, pretty cool. The only issue here, is that the excavator is not gonna work in our area. Like, it just is not gonna work here, because these chunks were loaded before we had immersive engineering in. Which means I went ahead and explored just a little bit down below. The tunnel that I was making, I ended up here because it ran out of cobblestone, because this area is fully submerged in water and it's having some issues with kelp. But the area that I went ahead and found is this one. You can see like these brown dots. Those are areas where I went ahead and used this mineral survey tool. Mineral survey tools, as I said before, it allows you to scan the area and tell you, well, there's mineral something here. And so after a long line of wires coming through this forest, going around, coming through these plains, coming through this beach/desert, through these plains, and all the way back to the base, we brought this guy right here. Now, you can still say, well, this is not technically create power anymore, like it's FE. But don't worry, since this area will be repurposed, probably this and this area, they will all be repurposed into a newer factory. We will be using a bunch of create machinery. And how can we do that? Well, with the other part of the thing, it is the electric motor. So all I need to do, hopefully, all I need to do is do this and do this. And boom, we got rotational power. I know, right? Amazing. Which means we technically have a way to transport create power without using shafts, and it's a much faster and quicker way. Like, I all the way through here, I just place fence posts, connector wire, fence post connector wire, fence post connector wire. Now that we are on the actual building spot, I'm gonna make these poles like a little bit taller so we are not crossing wires. The wire sometimes crosses like the earth and the dirt and the trees, but I didn't really care because I'm not gonna spend that much time putting that thing looking good because I don't know if I'll build in that area. But now you might be wondering, what are these guys? Well, like I said, I used the miner surveyor tools and it told me, well, there's something here. For example, the bituminous coal vein is 16 steps to the northwest. And I know already it is here, like right here, right here, which means we're gonna build the excavator right here. And here we go. Diggy hole. We got ourselves the excavator. Now, this is not the excavator like on its own, because the excavator does require this bad boy, or this wheel, I should say. And the entire building would look like this. Pause it. When it's built, it looks like this. But if we move it, yep, this is how we need to make it. Well, the water wheel, or the bucket wheel is here. It's not properly loading. If I remove the shaders, yes, you can see it's here. It does still glitch like a little bit. Yeah, you can see like teleports all the way there. It's weird how it looks. But yeah, it's a shader thing. I don't really, I'm not really gonna be bothered by that. I'm just gonna use the shaders, because if it works, right? That's all I care about right now. And there we go. Yes, I can just toggle this into push. It consumes a lot of power, like as you guys can imagine. Yeah, it's doing 360. Oh, it's not that much. It's super slow. Maybe I can toggle this off and we can take a look at the actual speed. That's not even moving right now. Wait, let me do this. Nope. It's it's super weird. It's super bugged out. I guess. Well, this is as close as we're gonna get. But yeah, this is, well, functional, but still super slow. And this means we gotta move into more and more power. I don't know if this is maybe like taking some, possibly this is taking some power from it. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see later. Yeah, still only giving like 360, so it's not a lot of power. This uses like 4K per second or something like that. This uses way too much power than these little boys can do. I was gonna bring here the immersive engineering wires, by the way, but those were also invisible for some reason. I guess they still have some tweaks and things to do to how the pack loads with shaders, but well, these guys work as well, so I'm gonna use these dudes for now. But yeah, I guess we can take a look at this and we can see that 16,000, there's 360 FE per tick, so we're basically only giving it 360. So we're gonna be needing a massive power plant to power that machine, and I intend on having multiple of those, so yeah, that's gonna be fun. It could also be the wire. I'll test this as well, because if you make more electrum, we can try with this, because I believe electrum is the highest tier. This is like the mid voltage, and electrum is like the high voltage. So we'll try with electrum as well to see if that fixes it and gives it more power. But we still need to make the power plant. But guys, with all that said, that's all the time we're gonna have for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't, and see you in the next one. Bye.